Hey there, Devin here. Today we are playing Citizen Sleeper. This one's been out for a while. In fact, I just learned here that Citizen Sleeper 2 has been announced. And this one, Citizen Sleeper, is currently part of the monthly Humble Bundle. Is that called Humble Choice now or something like that? Whatever the one is that you're supposed to subscribe to, but that you can actually just subscribe to get the current month and then unsubscribe. That one, it's in that one. And this is the only game in that one that I really have any desire to play. I didn't buy the bundle, but I had this one already and haven't played it yet. I don't know how conducive this will be to this sort of video, but like I said, I want to play it, so we're going to do it here. What are our class options? We've got an extractor. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extractor work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. So far, I'm not a fan of the lack of Oxford comma, but we'll let that slide for now. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work are usually cerebral and precise people. And then we have a machinist, repairs and modifies automated systems used in industrial resource extraction. Sleepers assigned to machinist work are usually diligent, careful, and structured people. What was this one again? Confident, self-sufficient, and high level of endurance. Cerebral and precise. Let's go with the extractor. I did fire this game up once and play a little bit of it, but I don't think I made it very far. It's something that I want to like. I'm not sure if I actually will. The first thing you become aware of on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Let's think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden, the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach, until you can't tell one from the other. The cold slips in behind and around you, and the sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain, at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no insistent throb, no trembling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now there are thousands of them. Let's remember the others. You remember there were 10 of you. 10 that could no longer stand the indentured work, the routines, the slow decay. 10 whose belief in their promised future was slowly dismantled day by day until they realized they had sold away everything that could and ever would matter. 10 that would escape, or at least die trying. I feel like lots of games I play hit too close to home for me. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers. But the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Let's try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You've been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of that time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were a person. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Alright. Dragos? Pragmatic Salvager? Okay, we can move around here with W, A, S, and D. But it seems like that is maybe the only point that we can interact with, so let's see what Dragos is. I guess maybe we can... Okay, items and data. Looks like I don't have any data, but I've got this cryptocurrency. Okay. Dragos. A pragmatic and private salvager. It has been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where the plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with fogged eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed yet? I'll just stay silent. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have better perseverance in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside outer locks in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drones perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. I really like the art. I'm just taking a moment to admire it here. I like the colors. They're kind of almost vibrant and muted at the same time. One thing I wish, just looking at this, is I wish there were some way that the lighting from this environment back here could be affecting this. I don't even know what that means, but that sounds like something I would want to see. Almost like if this flat, two-dimensional portrait of this person were part of the environment, were in the environment. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. That didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in a memory for a moment, or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. I'm just gonna stick with silence, I think. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you were just software. A rogue emulation, illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world. But as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. These are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. That body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. SNARP wants to protect their property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your routine. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down. Separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away toward the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. Do I stick with the silence? I'm curious to know what the eye is. I'll break the silence. The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with. He trails off. There's an old freight container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scraps these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside of you. Emotion. Fatigue. You shakily get to your feet. We'll nod. Alright, you head on up there. You look like you need some rest. And with that, Dragos stalks back into the wrecks, his drones already converging on a rusting hulk, plasma flashes silhouetting his spindly figure as he returns to work. Alright, we are in the tutorial. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Select locations by clicking on their icon. Oh, okay, we can also use the scroll wheel on the mouse. So I guess using that, you could really play this entirely with the mouse, which would be very convenient. What does this do? Okay, this gives me my character sheet. I have an upgrade point, I guess? No, sorry, that's not what this means. These are the different sort of zones of this character sheet. These cost 1 upgrade point, these cost 2, and these cost 3. At least I assume that's what we're looking at here. And are these corners anything? No, they're just... It's just sort of a little design flourish, I guess. If you can call a simple triangle a flourish. There's the empty container. So that's where we currently live, and it looks like that's the only location we can interact with. Per cycle, we get minus energy twice, I assume, and minus condition. Let's go ahead and end the cycle. I think that's the only thing we can do. Seems that way anyway. You wake, curled up in the corner of the container, and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you wake in now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? What is this? Weird. That turned red when I hovered over it, and then when I clicked on it, oh, it's a it's a scroll bar. Okay. Do we want to escape? Oh, okay, we're answering this question. After all this, what matters? So does escape matter, getting answers, or building a life? I like to move forward, so I guess building a life, maybe? Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts in the container: the mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the power stud of the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets, I have no idea what this word is, smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell washes over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly, a web of threads pulling at your skin, a constellation of bright polygonal shapes like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it is long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Alright, we're going to learn about condition, action dice, and energy. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. I know that we lost one of that, I guess, by ending the cycle, if I interpreted that UI correctly. It depletes by 1 second each cycle, or 1 segment each cycle, so there's the confirmation. But it can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Wow. Alright. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolled is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Oh, okay, so these numbers correspond to the numbers down here. So this is condition, and these are the dice. That one was pretty obvious. And so this one is energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can refill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will be starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will also deplete at a double rate per cycle. Alright. It's just like rotating slightly as I move the mouse back and forth. Scroll wheel is doing nothing now. I guess I'm just leaving this? I don't know what I'm leaving. Okay. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. I guess I left the container, maybe? He is still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor you realize it is implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Probably not good if I'm just sort of relearning all this stuff from scratch right now. This doesn't seem like a great existence. The drone chirps, Dragos nods. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked by burns and blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe. He pauses. So, I'm not going to chit-chat chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Work? Look, I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. I didn't pull you out of the container, out of that container, out of the goodness of my heart. He looks away. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards or the bright market dealers for cryo. Oh, so maybe this is going to launch into Hard Space Shipbreaker and let me break down some spaceships. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes in is scrap. I should probably play Hard Space Shipbreaker in a video someday. I find it... I like to turn off like the time pressure stuff and then just play it in kind of a... It's kind of like a meditative game to play. It's hard to find good hands here, but I figure you, as a sleeper, you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you turn up. Got it. I assume chits are currency. He shuffles his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd be best suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleepers, well, he trails off. But things being the way that they are for me at the yard, he pauses. I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses, thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Why do they call cryptocurrency cryo? It's like it stops me every time I hit it. It throws me off. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Alright. I'm just gonna look around. I assume... Oh. I can go to the low-end gate. I can go to the yard, which is where he asked me to go. So I guess that's probably where I should go. Got these dice, I don't know what they do. I was apparently able to roll 4 of them. And it said that was based on my condition, so maybe... Like, since this one intrudes into that 4th space, I get to roll the 4th one. But I'm assuming if this bar were missing, I would have only gotten to roll 3. That's just a guess. I'm sure we'll find out, though. Actions. The primary way you interact with the world of Citizen Sleeper. To perform an action, click and drag on your chosen action dice to that slot. Got repeatable actions. Actions reward you with clock progress, energy, condition, or items depending on their outcome. There are 3 types of outcomes. Positive, action goes better than expected. Neutral, action succeeds. Negative, action fails. Okay. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. So 6 is 100% chance of positive. 5 is 50-50, positive and neutral, so there's no chance of failure on a 5. Then we get into 25, 50, 25, and then a 1 and 2 are 50-50 between neutral and negative. Let's look at these sample actions. Hull dissection. Even the rustiest hull can hide valuable components and materials. Extracting them means cutting carefully and skillfully. Yeah, that sounds exactly like Hard Space Shipbreaker. Risky. Huh. I wonder what that means. I guess we'll learn that too. Manual salvage. It's going to take some time to sort and cut your way through the towers of salvage, but you are no stranger to hard labor. Okay. And that one's safe. This one's +1, this one's 0. Oh, okay, these are my modifiers, maybe. Because I think I have Endure. Or maybe this is just a sample of what a modifier would look like. No, we're going to find all this out. We've got a type, critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Then we've got the risk. Safe is no loss of condition energy or cryo. Risky is negative outcome, means cryo or energy loss. And danger is negative outcome, means condition loss. And it can mean, a neutral outcome can lose cryo or energy. Then 3 is the skill. The skill that this action requires, either engineer, interface, endure, intuit, or engage. And the modifier is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. Okay. Oh, okay, so these are the ones that we have for this location. A cycle clock. Dragos is tied up in something ugly, and if he misses a payment or two, things could get nasty. And then back in business, every salvager knows they're always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. So this is a clock. Does that mean every cycle this is going to advance? I think that's what that means. And then this one we advance, I assume, based on successes in these actions. So I would very much like to succeed at this one, the risky one. So let's put our 5 in there. And then this one's safe, so it's not as critical. We can put the 3 there. And I've got 2 energy, so I think I only get 2 anyway. Wait, what? What just happened? Oh, maybe I do them one at a time? Let's do this one first then. Actions often progress clocks. That's what I suspected there. The back in business clock has gained 2 segments. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something, good or bad, is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Drago's debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Okay. I should probably stop guessing what all this stuff is, because it seems like everything's tutorialized pretty well. I gained some things. I'm not sure what they were. They dropped off pretty quickly. Some of it was cryo. I guess now we should do the other one. Got a +1 from it. Not super worried about a negative outcome because this is safe. How do we know what the outcome is? In Citizen Sleeper, you will unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in pursuing specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any tracked drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue your goal. Access your drive menu via the arrow button at the top left of the screen. So that's this. I guess we can't do that while this tutorial's open. You are now free to explore Erlin's Eye and make your life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you are out of dice. Mouse wheel or W and S to scroll along the station. Rotate the view with A and D. Good luck. Okay. Got that one. Got 10 cryo, and we... Oh, okay, so the other thing besides the cryo we gained on that other one was the 2 segments we got here. And we want to survive, so we need to find a doctor. And we want to repay Dragos. But I guess for now we're gonna track survive. That one seems like it may be more pressing. Plus I feel like this is what we're doing to repay Dragos. Okay, Rotunda Wet Dock, the shipyard. Bright Market. That one's got a blinking dot on it. Guess that probably means there's something we need to pay attention to there. Maybe that's where the doctor is. We could ask for directions. That might help us find a doctor. Why is that dangerous? Do I want to put a 2 on that? I guess we need local knowledge. In order to find a doctor, right? Maybe? What are these? Let's just poke around a little bit. Salvage sortie. This is a cycle clock. Several cycles to reach the starboard belt and return, loaded with scrap from the old wrecks. So there's nothing for us to do there. Probably the same goes for this one. Merchants willing to run the gauntlet over the Helion system are rare, but those that do always return eventually. Okay. The Rotunda. Can steal dock plans? Or we can explore the Rotunda. I don't know. I think the market sounds most exciting. What does this do? Okay, the low-end toll, 60 cryo. That's almost said credits. 60 cryo. That's a lot. That's more than we have, so we're not doing that. Yeah, let's go to the market and just explore the market, although we do have a -1. I don't understand if a 1 or if it's any different, like between a 1 and a 2, because they both give me 50% neutral, 50% negative. Does it change? I guess it can. If they're 50%, it can't change the probability of the outcome. Okay. Let's try this. We gained local knowledge. It's good. Let's do it again. Why not? Oh, I can't? No, I can. Let's do it again. Okay. Gained more local knowledge. Alright. So now we're ready. Oh, okay. This is part of this local knowledge we gained. Next comes the call from the enforcer at the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer on the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block. They've all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, your body, will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Let's look inside. You lean against the doorframe and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway screened with plastic sheeting, beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway, and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheet on the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright market's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. "Come, sit," calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turn away, replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed. You make your way across the room. The figure turns, and as they do, you see an expression of confusion flash across their features. They open their mouth as if to speak, they blink, and then quickly regain their composure. "Please sit." They gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools on the table. You sit. Sabine turns, a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. "Remain still, please." Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from their expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness, unmistakably etched across their face. "How long have you been on the station?" they ask, the scanner still to their eye. "A few cycles." They nod. "It's good you came to me." They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. "I'm going to start by assuming you don't know anything." They take your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. "Your body is dying." They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. SNARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose. To prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping, they built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizer, one which SNARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes. Good, that may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device over your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. "I'm sorry," Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm. And SNARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up as if to apologize again, but they stop themselves. "I know little of this is of use to you." They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something. Anything. Sabine turns to face you. "I may be able to help." They sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue in their voice. They gesture to the door. "You saw Toshiro outside?" You nod. "He works for my benefactor. Yadigan. I get really hung up on pronouncing made-up words and names, or even just ones that I don't know. They are influential in the low end. They give me this space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds." They look away. "But Yadigan has connections, smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance." Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it." "Thank you." Sabine walks away to the window, their face dappled by the shadows of passing drones. "Let's just see if this works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead." You nod and leave, Sabine still staring out, unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. So now our, what do they call it, drive? The description here has changed. Wait for Sabine to acquire the stabilizer. And now there is a clock here. Is that what they called that? A clock? I think that's what it's called. What's this? A street food vendor. Emphas. Emphas is busy, his broad face uplit by the makeshift gas burner in front of him. With precise, delicate movements, he lays thick chunks of marinated fungus into a dented wok, his other hand idly tossing a metal bowl of sliced vegetables and some red-flecked dressing. The smell is incredible. You watch as he fulfills a set of orders, heaping the fungus with the bright salad and depositing it in plastic trays. A stack of chits rattles in his apron pocket as customers file past the burner, handing over payment. Let's just watch. Despite the queue, Emphas doesn't rush. He dresses each portion individually, squeezing precise slugs of liquid from an assortment of bottles into the bowl of torn leaves and bright slices, before tossing them loosely together. Occasionally, a waiting customer might mutter something about efficiency, but Emphas remains steady in his process. After a while, the queue fades back into the crowd, and Emphas sets down his metal bowl and looks up across the burner to see you watching him. I can feel your eyes burning a hole in my bowl. Free sample? Sure. He gestures neatly. Come over. The smell is almost unbearably strong as he cooks. The earthiness of the fungus laced with something so spicy the smoke makes your eyes water. The heat from the burner is like a bonfire, and your skin hardens in its glare. I know you, you sleepers, Emphas says while he cooks, his voice deep but clear. A hard life, a lot of stories. He glances up from beneath his cap with piercing eyes. I know. Let's tell him a story. You begin to tell him about your journey to the eye, and he nods as he cooks, his eyes never leaving his work. You tell him of the confusion, the pain, but also the sense of possibility and its sudden arrival. You tell him of the cold and dark of the container, and the endless cycles spent within it. Now it seems, you tell him, like some dream that you once had but can never forget. You tell him that the eye excites you and scares you, and you're unsure where to walk, where to look, what to do. Eventually, you tail off, running out of words. He places a plastic tray of steaming fungus in your hand. Next time, we can talk some more, he smiles. But next time, you pay. He slams a heavy hand against a button on the burner's side and it shuts off. The roar of the flame and its impressive heat fades. Next time then, sleeper. He waves you away and begins to oil the wok. Before you turn back to the alley, you notice the geometric patterns of circular scars across his forearms, each surrounded with a constellation of glinting pin marks. Is that... Oh no, this is not forearm, this is, forearm would be up here. So I guess... Huh. I don't know if we actually... Well, there are little circles here too on the right forearm. I don't know if that's what that's referring to. You walk away, and as you do, you take a bite of the rich, spicy, delicately sweet fungus. Your taste sensors light up like a fusion reactor. You'll be back. Okay, so we know how to refill energy now. Condition at the doctor. Why is this still blinking? Blinking makes me think there's something I need to do here. But this is just a cycle. This is just a clock, a cycle clock, right? Yeah. I think it says it right there in white over bright yellow. Okay. Wait, did we miss going to the yard? No, I guess we can still go to the yard, right? Oh yeah, this is where we went. This is what we did. Okay. It's just telling us that there's a cycle clock there. What's in the shipyard? Okay, nothing we can do right now because we're out of dice. I guess we just need to go back to the container at this point. I think we've seen everything we can see for the moment. And we're out of dice. We talked to everyone and we can't do any more actions. Sunbathe your frame's photosynthetic skin allows you to gather energy through sunlight. The longer you stay, the better. Let's end the cycle. This time, you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment, you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into the millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station. No, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Let's observe it. Even though you have no eyes, no sight, you see, feel the map of the station. No, not the map of the station, but the map of its connections. It is a looped cloud with spokes and spires that jut out into space. It is an ingrown thing full of obsolete loops and severed pathways. It is a system, a map, and a territory all at once. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently, as if you were a small child. Somehow, it is pulling in two directions at once. You look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back, trembling into this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours, all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connected nodes, waiting to be explored. And then it is gone. Alright. Those are a couple of good rolls. Huh. I guess we can sunbathe to get energy too. We don't have to eat. But we use an action to do that. I bet maybe we don't use an action to eat, we just spend currency. I'm just gonna go take a look at that. Order fungus. Yeah, there's no action spent here. So I can just spend 15 cryo. So it looks like I kind of get a pick how I want to approach my energy. I guess we should go back to the doctor. Oh, there's nothing to actually do here. This is just... we just gotta wait on the doctor. Right, that's why it says that. So maybe we need to do some more work. And if we do work for Dragos, then we advance that clock, which is probably good. Okay. I am going to spend a 5 on the risky one to minimize my risk there. Advanced at 1 and got 15 cryo. Now I'll spend the 2 here. Because it's safe. Oh, dang. That's a big one. We're close on this. Should I just... Should I just go again? Here? Oop. Oh, okay. Apparently right click takes you out. Should I just go again and maybe wrap this up? Wrap this clock up? I think we want to do that. Help pay off. I think that's what we're doing here, right? We're paying off Dragos's debt. I hope so anyway. I'm gonna go for it. Oh, just one. Okay. Next cycle. And now I've sort of committed myself to buying food. Although my condition... But I can't really do anything about my condition, right? Not yet. Am I going to have to wait 3 cycles to be able to improve my condition? Because that's going to be a real problem, I think. Well, whatever the case, I do need to eat. So let's do that. And we're building rapport with fungus. Not with fungus, with Emphas, right. Okay. By eating his fungus, okay. That's, sounds like a horrible euphemism. We've spent everything. Character is still where it was. And I guess we just end this cycle. Against the skeletal ring of the station. Again, the skeletal ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering lights like stars reflected in a winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, caches of shimmering light beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring, through these forms, then leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information, of communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Let's focus on the threads. I don't know which to do. There are more threads than you can count. You choose one that passes nearby and approach it. As you inspect it, you understand why you instinctively chose the word thread when you first saw them. They are not single lines, but rough, fuzzy things woven from data strings of all kinds. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes, one leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across this ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then, that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see 2 lines, 2 threads pulling in different directions as if they were tied around you. Let's go for the second. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something, a sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. Let's see the first thread. The first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever closer with each cycle. You open your eyes. Time is short. Okay, only 3 this time. Not as good as last time either. The cloud. Something has changed inside you. You can now access the data cloud of the Eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While there, you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Click the I button at the top of the screen to toggle this view on and off. Oh. A lone connection feeds into this isolated node. Its last access timestamp is 1,000 cycles ago. Data actions allow you to extract data from the networks of the eye. They work like dice actions, but in order to unlock them, you must match your dice to the one displayed on the right of the action. If you have a +1 or +2 modifier in the interface skill, you will be given more possible dice to match. You can use any dice that matches the dice displayed. Once unlocked, the data can be extracted. I'm kind of glad people stopped saying die as the singular of dice. I think I still do it sometimes by mistake, but I was never a big fan of it. Gotta match a 2 here. The data here is part of a cache tucked away during the collapse. Who hid this and for what purpose? Okay. Let's flip. Oh, what's this? What's this one? This gate conceals a network of systems which have been untouched since the Solheim collapse. Input 1 Solheim cipher. So maybe that's something I would get out of one of the data nodes. Oh, here's a... Let's see. These are both diamonds. This one's a triangle. A Havenage member is broadcasting on the open network from here, leaving them open to data extraction. Okay. So maybe that's just another kind of data node. And then the circle is something else. I'm guessing you will get something out of one of these data nodes that is maybe a Solheim cipher that you can slot in there. Alright. Yeah. Let's just take... Do I want to use... I could use my big one here, and I think I will definitely get +1 to back in business. I could use it here, and I'll add 1 to it. So I have to succeed then, I think. I think 6 was 100% success. But then my 5 is gone. What if I could save that and use it somewhere else? So then maybe that puts me using like a 2 here to get a 3, but then I still have a 50% chance of failure, and then I'd have to use another die. Another dice. Okay. What to do? This is nothing right now, right? Yeah, nothing to do there. The 2 and the 1 are both useful in a couple of those data nodes. So maybe I don't worry about trying to save the 5. Maybe I just go ahead and use it. Does risky imply greater rewards? Not clear. I'm gonna go for this. Okay, we completed the clock at least. And we can talk to Dragos now, I guess. You arrive into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across a vast dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across scorched hull plates and bent structures spilling from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's a beauty, isn't she? Dragos stands to the side, focused on the hulking ship as it's lowered into the yard. What is it? Dragos laughs. That, my friend, is A-grade scrap. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this monstrous craft. You can't help but think of what became of its crew. We'll just stay silent. Believe it or not, I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. He glances at you. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Drago is visibly excited. I've never heard calve as anything other than a baby cow, like a calf, and the plural being calves. I don't know what calve is as a verb. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm going to need some help with this one. The drones start to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating flashes of dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion, locked inside that container, the wreck of the Essen-Arp freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a whim for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this ship, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we are up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side, Winterlight. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting, and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold into the empty passage. Oh, we got an upgrade point and a new drive. You've completed your first drive. Each drive unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character. Access your character menu via the arrow button at the top right of the screen. Okay. Alright, we've got an upgrade point. What do we want to use it for? Could take Intuit to 0 instead of having it at -1. Oh, okay. This interface is a little weird, but all of these boxes are things you can select. I just happen to have these already at 0, so the -1s don't do anything. This one's at -1, so I can go to 0, and then I can buy these, which are like supplemental abilities on top of the skill. Efficient extractor, chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions. Transfer intercept, chance to gain cryo on interface actions. Okay, this is what gives me the sunbathe action at home. And then we've got predictive reasoning. Dice actions display potential positive and negative outcomes. Oh, that would be nice, but I've got to spend 2 before I can get that. I don't know if I care that much. Thrill Seeker, chance to gain energy after any engage action. Or, oh no, I need 2 for that, so I can't lean into this. So I probably need to gain an ability on one of these, I would say. I don't think I need to start building up into it from 0. Cryo would be useful. That would make it easier for me to buy some fungus. Keep the energy high. Or I could just gain energy directly, but probably I'm not going to gain as much as I would gain with the fungus. And the cryo is probably more flexible because I'm sure I can do more stuff with it besides just buy the fungus. I think I'm going to go for that. Alright, Now I have 2 dice left. What's the rotunda? Have I been here? Steel dock plans, explore the rotunda. All this stuff looks... Oh, that's a -1 with risky. All this stuff looks not great for me. What can I do at the market? Can engage, which is dangerous, or I can explore, which is risky and a -1. None of those sound great either. Maybe it's time to... I forget what this layer is called, but to look at it. One of these wanted a 2. One of them wanted a 1. Let's do that one, just in case I decide I want to... If this is no good, I might take my 2 and use it somewhere else. One encrypted key. Able to unlock the station's aging maglocks. What is that? That's not this, right? I'm assuming whatever I need has that icon on it. Maglocks. What is a maglock? Is that a physical lock, or is it some sort of digital thing on that other layer? Okay, I've got a 2. What can I do with the 2? Anything I can do at the shipyard? This all looks pretty dangerous for me. And I guess I can't do anything at the scrapyard anymore. Oh, yeah? I can. But this is all bad now. Huh. None of that looks as easy as it once did. Maybe I should do something here. I probably shouldn't put a 2 in this dangerous one. Plus that's a critical action, so I only get to do it once. I don't know what I want to do with this last one. I guess I can go back to the other layer. Could sunbathe. I wonder how much energy that gives me. Huh. Oh, this is under data, so yeah, this is not a physical item. So that's something that gets used on that other layer. Well, let's just go over there. And it is this one that wants it too. Let's go for it. Another encrypted key, alright, well. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you. A thread, strung tight around you, it tethers you in place. A taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity, unknown, astringent, processing. Let's stay still. Please hold. Yeah, that's troubling. The thread around you thickens until it is a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is blinding for a moment, and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between different angles, reading you. What are you? The shape paces around you on lithe legs, though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity, identify. Origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. I guess we can try to tell it some of this stuff. We'll say sleeper, SNARP. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates. Brackish signature, of and not of. Attempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head. Thick, snaking, vine-like ribbons that flex and wave. They approach with intent. Uh-oh. Is this thing gonna just... If I say stop, is it just gonna do it? I'm somehow doubtful. Maybe we should run. You kick off and glide through the cloud, the threads surging after like predatory tentacles. They follow, wrapping the space around you until you are held within a web, a tangle of tentacles closing in. Stop. Hunter halts its threads, its head twitching. Entity. Your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? I'm a person. Incorrect. You are an entity. All at once. Hunter's head is directly in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste. The one from the sealed dock. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. I don't understand. An entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. The only thing I can do is strike? You lash out with all your force, not a physical strike, but a focusing, a spike of interference leaping out like the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. Let's wake up. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Alright, that was something. I guess now we need to eat. Hopefully this is going to give me a discount once I complete this clock. That would be nice. 3 energy. I didn't even have that much to fill. Okay. Condition continuing to deteriorate. It's going pretty slowly though. I've lost the dice that I'm going to lose for that, because this is going to be completed after this cycle, I think. Let's go ahead and end that cycle. And that may also be where we end this video. This is really cool. I like the writing. I like the atmosphere. I like the setting. I like the sort of air of mystery around everything. It makes me want to dig deeper. I got some good rolls this time too, so maybe I can dig pretty deep this cycle. Alright, thanks for watching, and catch me in the next video.